Mark, congratulations on the new season.
Thank you so very much. I appreciate you taking the time.
So let's start by getting a little bit of a background. The show is based on your memoir. And tell us a little bit about writing the memoir and how it developed into the series.
Yeah, so the book is all about my life growing up in Newfoundland, Canada, which is on the east coast of Canada. We're our own dominion before we joined Canada in 1949. And it's a fishing place. The fishery was king. And I grew up on the outskirts of the main town there, St. John's, next to my dad's radio station, where he was the news director and morning guy. And so it's all about my life, kind of like growing up without any other kids around, with older parents, and then coming into this really tough school downtown and trying to fit in, but also trying to hold on to who I am. And it's an outsider story growing up and finding your way, and then eventually growing up to become a comedian. And so that's the book was with Penguin Random House and did quite well. And then my friend Tim McAuliffe, who was a writer for The Office, said we should make this into a TV show. So we pitched that, and we did, and here we are 3 seasons later, and having not adapting the book, but also kind of just telling those life stories in a different way. It's sort of like, okay, I wrote a book. Now I'm going to tell my life story through a TV show. So it's not necessarily a page by page adaptation or anything. And we've been very blessed with a wonderful cast led by great Malcolm McDowell as my grandfather and Benjamin Evan Ainsworth as young me.
Yeah, so is every episode based on a real situation in your life,
Yeah,
or is some
yeah.
of it fictionalized at this
No,
point?
well,
You're running out of material.
no, so stuff. Some the ins and outs will be fictionalized. But I always say is like I'll take a story from maybe grade 5 and a story from the 11th grade and a story that happened at this point and mix them together in this timeline.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the heart and of every story is true. Season one of this episode one of this season sees me getting glasses at school, and then when I'm picked on, denying that I ever had them, and telling the teachers that my parents couldn't afford them, which was a true story that happened. I got out, I was so proud to have these glasses. I got off the bus. People start like just giving me hell, and one guy said to me, "He's like, you're going to be killed if you walk in there with those on." And I was like, okay. And I took them off. I never wore them until a teacher came to check on, see how Mark's glasses were. And the teacher's like, Mark doesn't wear glasses. And I was like, oh no. They called home, and it was a big disaster. And the same thing, the thing with my brother in there. And my brother is a radio DJ to this day, who had to take a radio name because he had the same name as my father, who worked at the station. And then dad was heartbroken that he cast aside his family name to take on this show business name. And that really happened. So those two elements of that episode are all real.
So talk about the importance of casting Benjamin Ainsworth in the role of you. What was that like, finding the perfect you, and how is he doing?
We looked high and low. And a lot of the kids we saw in Canada and the United States both had a real Disney quality. They were kind of trying to be cute or trying to be precocious, which isn't what we wanted at all. So we decided to look across the pond over in the UK and Ireland. And we had this great casting agency over there who had worked on Game of Thrones, and they found all these wonderful people, and they had like 50 kids lined up, and he was number 3. And I got to number 3, and I was like, it's number 3, isn't it? They're like, yeah, he's fantastic. And I thought, can we get him? What else has he done? He said, well, he was just Pinocchio in Tom Hanks' Pinocchio. I thought, oh my God, now we're not going to get him. And anyway, we met with him, and he was wonderful. And he really, being a bit of an old soul himself, like I was at that age, he really connected to it. And so we could not have asked for a better young person to work on the show. He's incredibly talented, very hard worker, but also a really sweet, nice guy. And of course, then we had the great Malcolm McDowell playing the grandfather role. And these two guys, he's 80 and Ben's 14, but they get together. It's like they've been rooming together their whole life. They're back and forth. They're both big Liverpool football supporters, so they'll argue about that all day. But seeing the two of them perform together in one of these scenes in the bedroom where they're just, it's just magical, and definitely the highlight of my career is having these two do anything I'd written.
What's for the new season? Do you have a favorite scene or moment on screen, and a favorite scene or favorite moment off screen?
Well, on screen, it may be later in the season. We'll see. When I was 15, I did comedy in a cabaret bar night and snuck like underage, and my dad found out about it and got very upset. And so it was my first time doing stand up, like, and getting paid for it, doing comedy. And I did an impression of my dad partially because he was so well known. Anyway, that scene, we recreate all that in the episode. And for me, it was such a visceral memory, like it's so in there, and it was such a big kind of like my origin story comedically. So getting to do that, like this was my and then playing my father, stopping me. I'm playing my dad when my dad stopped me from doing stand up, doing an impression of him in a bar. It was very much like floating over the operating table,
Very
like,
meta, meta,
yeah.
meta, meta.
So I was thinking, at that point, I thought, what the heck am I doing? Surely to God, therapy would have been cheaper. You're looking around, there's a boom guy, like, working through your stuff, are you? Like, I don't want, no, I'm just trying to figure this out. So anyway, that was pretty remarkable. And off camera, we do this thing where the guys are big Benjamin and Malcolm are big Liverpool football supporters. So I know this guy from Dublin who owns a pub in St. John's, Terry O'Rourke. And so he'll open the pub early on Saturdays. So the guys and the whole cast and a lot of the crew come down to cheer on Liverpool. So it's a really fun kind of thing. We're all there in this pub, and Benjamin's like, I think we've got a really great fellow here starting. And Malcolm's like, oh, come on, he's not going to do any good. We paid too much for him. And everybody's eating fish and chips and having a great time on a Saturday together after we've spent the whole week together. So I think it's great that everybody still wants to come together. So I love doing that on a Saturday morning in this pub that we open up.
Mark, thank you very much for taking time to talk to us. We hope everyone gets to see the new season of Son of a Critch.
Thank you, Eric. Really appreciate you taking the time. Very kind of you.
Thanks for watching the You Interview channel. With over 3,000 original celebrity videos, we have one of the largest collections of celebrity interviews anywhere. So remember to like and comment on our videos and subscribe to the channel. If you want to get more involved, you can become a member of the channel. Membership has its perks. You can see exclusive celebrity videos and get the opportunity to ask our celebrity guests questions. We can't wait to hear from you.